Hello, this is Paul, and I am on the next segment of Open Office with dealing with spreadsheets. And we got done talking about being careful about how you name your files. If you should change the name on your file, be sure not to disturb what happens after the period, because that designation of 3 or 4 letters after the period designates what program is going to open with the associated file. So with that in mind, we're going to talk more about the design of a spreadsheet, and take notice that storage in each cell will be similar to storing data in a database. That means that we're going to have files and fields, and each field has like information. For example, on a spreadsheet, we will have each column with the same type of data as we go across our spreadsheet. Each line will be an entry for each item being listed. So with that in mind, I'd like to point out to you that each column will hold a similar type of data. It could be a text or a number, a date, or anything you want it to be that would be meaningful for each entry you put in. Now, take notice at the top it is highlighted with a letter A going all the way across to Z, and when it gets to Z, it'll take on an A, and then go to A, B, and then so forth up until AZ, and it go to BA, BB, and so forth. And when it gets exhausted all the way up to Z, the next one will be A, and it'll continue to go further. So it'll go wider than what any time you might expect to use. It's very sufficient. Now, take notice that each column is going to have a like type of data, and to be able to establish this, you might have to use a capability of establishing the format. Now, we do this by taking our mouse on top of the A and pressing the right button of your mouse to bring up this menu and to select Format Cells. Now, when we bring this up, we will have a window like this, and going across the top, we have a selection of different tabs, and we're going to pay our attention on the Numbers tab. So, with that in mind, we're going to look and see what the Numbers has for us. And we see in the category field, which is on the right of that window, with a whole selection of formats, which is user-defined, number, percent, currency, date, time, scientific. On the second half, it's continued with percent going down to time, scientific, fraction, Boolean means that it's true or false, and then we, of course, have text. Now, in the case of having a phone number, if you put it in, automatically your spreadsheet will recognize the number, and it will use the dash that you use in between the area codes and the rest of the phone number as a minus sign, and you don't want that. So we have to go in here often and designate it as text so that the phone number will be read properly. Now, with that in mind, we do realize that on the right side there, we do have an example of what our selection will look like when we use it. And in the center where it says format, each item has a selection of different formats that's available to you, and it'll follow up with that display. Now, we also have other things like the phone number I was just saying, if we put in, for example, a phone number and don't do this, okay? For example, 555-123-1234, the result when you press enter will be minus 802. And that is wrong. And that's why we need to be sensitive to the format of your cells when you set up your spreadsheet. This is Paul Jones, and once you understand this, why you'll be able to move on to the next section.